Hey guys, this is Suraj here again from Amandra Siksha. So, quickly a brief about my channel is this is a channel where I try educating music producers or sound engineers who trying to come up in this sort of field, and my videos are very up to the point and I don't lag. So I hope you guys like this video. This video is about Ableton overview and pretty much what is Ableton and why is Ableton used and what sort of people use Ableton and why Ableton. And if you open up Ableton, this is how it's gonna look. This is the front page of an Ableton. As you see, I have not opened any project which I've already done. It's untitled, so this is completely new. So the moment you open Ableton, this is how it is gonna you know look to you. I just want to explain you what are these and what you can do with it. Just keeping it very basic. I will try explaining it to you as I go in depth when in the other videos. The moment you open, you get two MIDI tracks and two audio tracks, and you also get the sends and returns and one master. I am not going to talk about the sends and returns for now, so I'm just going to delete that, which is not even required. And your MIDIs are nothing but a MIDI is nothing but it is a programmed it is programmed instrument where you put in, and it's just basically like coding into a C++, but it is not that complicated. The DAW just gives it in a much simpler way. So what am I going to do is I'm going to create something in a MIDI. And how do you create it? I'll just show it to you again. You just double click it over here, and the moment you do that, you'll get a piano roll, and in this you draw notes. So this is only being able to do in your MIDI. You cannot do this in audio. So a MIDI is nothing but a programmed codes which consist of a lot of data that represent either in alphabet or numeric. And a MIDI can be it's an alphanumeric representation, and it is only possible for you to draw notes in a MIDI clip, and you cannot draw notes in an audio file. The reason being is audio file is nothing but a graphical representation of your audio. So you cannot technically draw your MIDI notes in an audio, but you can definitely draw MIDI notes in your MIDI clip. So that is why we use MIDI clip. And in this MIDI clip, I can add any instruments I want. For example, I'm just gonna go. I just want to add some simple. I'm just gonna add this. So the moment I add, it is going to take some time. It depends completely on your RAM, as my RAM and I have a lot of other things and running behind due to the streaming purpose, so it takes quite some time, but for y'all it should be super quick, I believe. And now I draw it. The moment you draw the notes, and it could be of various length, you can make it a small note or a half note or a whole note. And how do you play it? You can either play it by clicking it here or by clicking it here. So that's how you create notes in a MIDI clip. Now, in an audio clip, you cannot put the MIDI clips in your audio clip. For example, if I have to drag it and drop it, it does go over there, but if you see it on top, it just changed itself to MIDI and not audio, because it cannot encrypt MIDI files in an audio clip. I'm just going to show it to you again. This is an audio clip. The moment I try and dragging into my audio clip, it changes itself into a MIDI clip. It no more stays as an audio clip. For you to drag and drop anything in an audio clip, you need an audio file. So how do you do that? go find an audio file. I'll just do one from my desktop itself. Just give me 1 sec. Drag and drop it on that particular audio file. Sorry, clip. On that particular clip, and here you go. You get the audio file, which you can only put it in your audio clip. You cannot put that in your MIDI clip. Now, if you see, the same thing happened when I dragged and dropped it into a MIDI clip. I'll just show that again. This is a MIDI clip. I'm dragging my audio file and dropping it on my MIDI clip. It changes itself into an audio clip, and it's no more a MIDI clip now. So this is how it converts itself, into an audio clip by itself and removes the MIDI from the DAW. And I'm pretty damn sure most of the DAW should be having these features, but I'm not still sure about it 100%. So you can go and try it out ahead. It's always, better to try it out. Trials and errors are always suggested. So that is what a MIDI and an audio clip does. So the next thing is, in Ableton, there are two view modes. One is called a live or a session view, and the other is called the arrangement view. What is a live and a session view? This page which you're seeing right now in your screen is called the live or session view. In this live or session view, you can pretty much have a full page of the strips in an vertical order and not in a horizontal order, and you can play live. Most of the live DJs who use Ableton for live performance will stay in this page 90%. They will only head out to arrangement page for certain automations and stuff, but otherwise it's much easy to trigger your clips from here using your Ableton Push or any MIDI controllers. I will also explain you what is Ableton Push and MIDI controllers in the upcoming video, but then for now I'm just trying to explain the overview, so I'll just stick to the overview part and not get lost through the other topics. So the live DJs or anyone who feels easy to trigger around obviously uses the live page. And what is the other page? The other page is nothing but the arrangement page. And how do you go to that arrangement page? If you see towards your right hand top corner, there is this vertical lines and there is this horizontal lines. When you click the vertical lines, it comes to your live or session view. The moment you click your vertical line, it goes to your arrangement view. And why do people use arrangement view? People use arrangement view for MIDI programming, MIDI arrangement, automation, and a lot of other things. Like, people use it for mixing, where they can automate their volumes or, fade it, edit it. Like, mostly people use it for editing, fading, volume automations, and etc. And it also gives you a clear practical picture of what actually is happening at what time. You cannot technically see that with the live page because it's more of a brick kind of an interface, so you cannot see the entire MIDI clip at what time, what is happening there, what is the automation there. So it's much easier for you to see all that in your arrangement view and not in your live or session view. So that is about the two kinds of mode. And on top of over here, where you see this 80.1.8 is nothing but your transport control. This is where you will play, stop, record, and I will tell you about these buttons when we go through on an advanced thing, but I just do not want you to get confused, which I will explain it to you on the later videos. For now, these are your transport controls, and this tells actually where is your marker right now. So for example, let me just delete, sorry about that. So for example, I am gonna play from my 17th bar. It is just exactly gonna show you where is it right now, 17th bar, and where the grid, and where in the grid is the marker right now. So this is bar, grid, and this is nothing but the number which represents which grid is it right now. So first bar, first grid, and first line of the first grid is technically what it is representing. So that is about the transport controls. And if you see up here, you have the link, which I will explain it to you in a later videos. You have tap. Tap is nothing but to tap and find out a certain beat's tempo. So for example, now if you see, I tap it according to a rhythm and my tempo over here changes. The slower I do, the slower the tempo. The faster I do, the faster the tempo. And what is tempo? Tempo is nothing but it just defines the speed of the track, and tempo plays a major role when it comes to genre, because I don't think you can produce a progressive house at 80 or 90 bpm. Bpm is nothing but beats per minute, which again is nothing but tempo, and I don't think you can make a hip hop track at 200 bpm, which is tempo. So every genre has its own comfort of tempo, which you have to stick to it. I will also make a video on what tempo and what is the genre and why does the genre have that specific tempo and what tempo you should be using to produce what genre. I will make a video about that, but for now again I'll stick to the overlook of Ableton. So that is where you will be changing your tempo, and this is also the beat signature, which is 4x4 or 6x8. You can change it according to whatever you want. Just click on it, and if you have a mouse, it's easy. Just click on it and drag it down, it goes to the numbers whatever you want, or drag it up, it goes to the numbers that you want it again. And this is nothing but the click, which when you record it gives you like a 1 bar intro click, and it's basically a metronome. In our layman's term we call it click, otherwise in a technical terminology we call it metronome. You can have this click to set it for 1 bar, 2 bars, or 4 bars, and this is where you click here. You first enable the metronome, and then in the count 10 you give whether do you want it none is nothing but it never counts in, it just directly starts recording. And in 1 bar it just shows 1 bar of metronome click and 2 bars or 4 bars. You can take a call on that. It obviously differs from person to person, so I always leave it in none. So that's about it. And you have certain sounds here. The sounds are nothing but the different kinds of stock and sounds like ambient and evolving, bass, booms, brass, effects, etc. And then you have drums here. Drums is where you'll find all of your drum kits. And you have instruments. In your instruments there, it has been divided into multiple like analog, collision, drum rack, electric, which each of these will have certain instruments in it. I would suggest you to go in and learn, or take a look at where it is, so it's easy for you to navigate. Audio effects, all the stock processing of Ableton plugins are all situated here, like a compressor, EQ. I'll just attach a link to my previous video where I've explained what is EQ and how is it used, and I've specifically explained about the low and high cut. And then you have MIDI effects, which is again all stock, like your arpeggiator, your MIDI effect rack, your note length, your pitch. This is Max for Life devices, which most of the people don't use it, but I have it since I have a licensed version, which I will explain it in later. And your plugins are nothing but the plugins which you buy, like your Waves, Isotope, and other external plugins. Clips, you will have to make your own MIDI clip and you can store it here, or when you go to Ableton website there are multiple clips which you can download it for free, and when you download it all those clips come and resides here, so you can just choose them, play them, and review them if you want to use them in your track. Samples are again the same. This is clip, which means it's a MIDI clip. Samples are nothing but these are audio clips. That's the only difference, but both are almost the same. You can make them, you can export them and store it back in your samples or in your clips. If it's a MIDI clip, store it in your clips. If it's an audio, store it in your samples. Packs are again, I have bought them all from Ableton. Most of you won't be having this in your Ableton, so just don't go mad that you can't see it, because I have bought them so you can see it. If you don't have it, just don't worry about it. Packs are nothing but those are like VSTIs, which pretty much is like your Serum, Massive, your Silent, and etc. User library is nothing but just if I try exporting something and if I try saving it, I can save it in my user library, and current project is nothing but the project which I am presently here. You can also press add folder and add your own samples or your specific, let's say that you have one folder in your hard drive which is only completely drums. All you have to do is add folder, rename that as drum sample folder, and then you can route it to your folder that is present in your hard drive. And every time when you plug in your hard drive, this folder will get highlighted here, which I don't want to do it right now, which so I'm not going to do that, but you're free to go and try it ahead. Next, as I explained, this is your MIDI and this is your audio clip. I am just gonna be super simple here. You see this yellow highlighted mark. This is nothing but to turn off or turn it on a particular channel. Now I do not want this detuner to be on in the project. I just turn it off and it is off. You do not hear anything which is being played out from this channel. I will just show you a quick thing. And how do you create a MIDI clip in the arrangement? In the live, you just double click and it gets created. In the arrangement, drag and select highlight at a bar which you would like to create, and then you can right click and create MIDI clip. Sorry, give me a sec. Draw mode, duplicate, loop, freeze track. Why isn't this coming? Yeah. So the moment you do this, just right click it and insert MIDI clip. Or there's also another shortcut how you can do it. Drag and highlight it up to a mark where your bar is present, and all you have to do is press Command Shift and M if you're using a Mac, or Control Shift and M if you're using a Windows laptop, and that's how you create it. The moment you create it, double click on the MIDI clip, it shows you this piano roll, and you can click, increase the length note by dragging it, or decrease it by half by getting it the other way. So, and you can duplicate it, right click on the note, duplicate it, right click on the note, duplicate it. If you want to drag it on one note up, just click the note and push it up, click the note, push it down. Simple steps. You should be able to figure all that out the moment you get into all of this. And last but not the least is your master channel. This is the master channel, which all of these have been routed to your master channel. So I would always recommend you to leave your master channel at 0 or unity gain. Unity gain is nothing but when the gain is set at 0 dB, which is called decibels, it is called unity gain. And what is decibels? Decibels is nothing but a unit to measure your amplitude. And as long as I know, I think it's a wrong terminology to call it volume, because volume is a unit to measure gas, if most of y'all have ever thought about it. But I think amplitude is the right word for sound. So I wouldn't say increase your volume. What's the volume of the track? I tend to like to say what's the amplitude of the track. Increase the amplitude of the track by certain decibels. I think that makes it much more professional rather than telling it a volume. So you also please tend to learn that word called amplitude. So decibels is nothing but it is a unit that is used to measure the amplitude, and that is all about your master track. In your master track is where you put in a lot of plugins for you to master the track, which I think it's like another whole vast subject which I'm not gonna teach it right now. But I guess this is about the overview of Ableton. Please let me know if I have to cover anything else, and I'll try keeping the upcoming videos more interesting and try to teach as much as small things which you want me to. If you want me to teach anything specifically, please leave a comment below, and I'm it's my pleasure to teach everyone and educate everyone, because by teaching y'all, I think I'm the most benefited person, because the more I teach, the more I'm getting, expertised at one certain thing. So I'm glad to do that. So please leave me comments, or you can mail me. I've You also have my Instagram and Facebook links below in the video. So please do message me and let me know what I have to do next, and if I'm not doing something right, please do let me know if I have to correct some things which I can do about. And that's about it. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. And please do criticize if I'm not doing something good. I would definitely take in all the reviews and try being a better human and as a better educator. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, like, and support Aman Ra Shiksha channel. Thank you.